A new global study, Michelle, from MTV and Christine, Nickelodeon and Microsoft, has highlighted how young people all over the world use and interact with technology. The findings, they hope, will assist advertisers and businesses communicate with young people in the future. For more, we're joined by Andrew Davidson, Head of Research at MTV Networks International. Andrew, thanks for joining us. What's interesting here is that we know children are engaging with technology far more than their parents ever did. That's a natural evolution. But they do it differently in different parts of the world. What does that mean for businesses who want to engage with those to sell them their products?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most interesting things that we found in the research, was understanding the organic reasons why young people use technology in different ways. They might use the same devices like a mobile phone, but depending on their age, their local culture, and also whereabouts they live and the things that they want to communicate, that changes the messages that businesses need to understand to communicate to young people.
Andrew, Christine here. One message you're sending out from the report is that digital communications are complementary and not competitive with TV. Doesn't this further reinforce the assumption that the advertisers would have to spread their ad spend and not simply cut out traditional media?
Well, I think the important thing is, the number one thing we've learned from this research is that the big difference with youth culture today is how much young people are communicating with each other. It's the number one thing that they do and how they spend their time. And I think it's, you'd be remiss for businesses to assume that they can interrupt that conversation. The thing that they really need to do is make sure that young people are talking about them, or that they're a part of that conversation in some way. So whether you spend your money communicating your message through online or television, the number one message is that you need to be talked about. And certainly TV still represents the number one way of communicating with a mass audience.
There's a lot of fascinating statistics in here, Andrew, where you can see, from country to country, just how many online friends individuals have, depending on where they live in the world. What does that mean for you? I mean, why did MTV do this study? In terms of executing now, what do you do with this research? Well,
understanding the sort of differences, like knowing that people in hot countries are more likely to engage with mobile media, those kind of things, really help tailor the kinds of platforms and technologies you use to reach young people. MTV Networks has got the largest mobile phone television network in the world, and we would be focusing those efforts in the warmer climate countries. So little local insights like that can really help engage and make a difference. I think the other thing is making sure that the kind of messages and the content that we're communicating is talk-worthy enough for young people to send that on and forward it on to their friends, because that's the key thing.
And Andrew, you point out the differences in regions. You say in China, it's online. In India, they like mobile phones. In Europe and the US, they like gaming consoles. But I actually wonder, is there as yet a global sort of youth community?
Well, it depends on where you go. I think the interesting thing when we went to China, the young people there are very, very interested in reaching out and connecting with young people from around the world, whereas in perhaps more developed youth markets like Holland, Germany, the UK, young people are much more interested in talking to people that they already know in much, much greater depth.
OK, Andrew, thanks for that. Andrew Davidson, Head of Research at MTV Networks International.